Welcome dudes and dudettes to Plini Guitar Study Part 5. Today we're looking at two specific sections. That would be from about minute 06, I'm looking at the screen now. From a minute and 6 seconds, that part of the song, the intro lick is repeated with a slight variation in it. The second bit that we're going to do is part of the song that starts from a minute 54 seconds. Okay, so that's also, again, the intro lick, but then adding there's a little add-on to that lick to make it a little longer to connect it to the following riff. I like to think of it as a little DLC to the lick itself. And this time it's free of charge. So that's what we're going to do today. And after that, we can move forward chronologically with the rest of the song with the following parts of this guitar study. So let's jump in. So we're going to do exercise 1 and 2 just together at the same time. Exercise 1 of the variation that we're doing, the little repetition of the intro. The same thing goes, right? You're starting with 5, 7, 10, hammer on, okay? And jumping to the E, so we're starting from the G, right? Skipping the B, going to the E. Right there we're hitting 5, hammer on to the 6, and then tap 10, and pull off, 6, 5. And then the same pattern. Here's where the change comes. You go to 6 instead of 7. Okay, so you're replacing basically the 7 on the high E with a 6. And that's the only variation. Okay, and then we have the nice little slides leading into another riff. Once we do the hammer on here, so we're going to slide from 8 to 10, and then go back to the 8. It's kind of like a little quick. And here is 6 slide to 8. And then we move to the G, where we're sliding from 5 to 7 and back to 5. So we have with a little vibrato there. We jump to 3, which is on the D string. Pick it once, pick it again, slide to 7, and 5. In order to move on to the next section, you have to know part 1 of the guitar study series, where I cover the intro lick, because that's what we're doing. We're doing the intro lick and adding to the intro lick a nice little extra section. And that's what we're going to look at primarily. So if you haven't learned the intro lick, go to part 1, check it out, learn it, then come back to this one so that we can learn the add-on, the DLC to the intro lick. So we're going to first start with exercise 1. When we're ending the intro lick, we're doing one of these. And the add-on, or DLC if you will, starts right after this 3. That's 0, that's the start of it. So what does it look like actually? We're starting with open note on the D, and that's 0, then 3, and then 7. So we have that little stretch. From there we're moving on to the G string, to the 5, and then we're going to start a series of hammer-ons and pull-offs. So 5, hammer on 9, pull off 5, hammer on 7, pull off 5, go to the D string 7, go back to 5 on the G, hammer on, and that's where it gets tricky. Okay, so far we have this. Oh, and by the way, you add palm mutes to the first 3 notes. Alright, so that's what we have so far. Then comes the tricky part. Why is it tricky? Because we're adding sweeps into it, just a small little sweep, okay? So once we do the hammer on, we're hammering on a downstroke, so like this. Right, so we're going from the 7, D, 5G, and you keep the momentum of that downstroke. So take a look, we're going hammer on, 5-7, going to the 8 on the B, going to the 7 on the E, hammer on, pull off, 5-7, and then sweep back upwards, 8-7. That's for me one of the trickiest parts of it, is adding that little quick little sweep into the lick itself. And then the next bit we have is more on the higher register of the fretboard. So right there we have 12 on the low G, well on the G, and 15 on the E, and we're keeping that pattern throughout the kind of 2-note chords that we're doing. So we have this one, and then you scratch. So you know, after the scratch you play it how many times? 3 times. So it's 1, scratch, 3 times. And on the 3rd time you're sliding onto the 19. We're gonna move to 19, and your index finger is always has to be 2 frets apart. So 19, 17, 15, 13. And you have to do it fairly quickly. And you're adding, it's kind of staccato. Part 2 of this lick is also fairly simple. We have this bit. Doesn't seem too hard in the beginning, but those last few notes are kind of tricky. So first we're starting off on the D string, 10, 12, going to the G string, 10, 12, going to the B, hammer on, pull off, 10, 12, then we're going back up, 12, 10, 12, 10, and then we have 12 on the A, then we jump to the G, 10, and then we're going to alternate between strings. So that's 10 on the G, 12 on the D, 9 on the G, 10 on the D, 7 on the G, 9 on the D, and then 5 on the G, 7 on the D, 5 on the D. The reason why it's hard is because you have to do it fairly quickly. It's kind of getting kind of dark outside. It's tricky because your finger, going between those 2 strings so fast, it requires more stamina and strength than you might think to do it quickly. Things to take note, right? Keep in mind the hammer-ons and legatos. Very, it's kind of a signature thing for Plini. Well, many guitarists, of course, do it. But as far as in the genre that Plini's in, he does it quite a lot. And remember the little tap for the variation. 6 instead of 7. The little sweep in between, also very important. Practice it slowly first, and those alternating string, 1 note per string, what was it like? There's like 6 notes in total. Try to really practice it to hammer through and get it on tempo. That will be it for today's guitar study. I hope it was clear and helpful. I felt like I maybe stumbled a bit in the explanation. Fought a bit with the lighting. Here in Holland, in Europe, the weather can be crazy. Sometimes it's sunny, then it's rainy, then it's cloudy, then it's sunny again, all in the span of 10 minutes time. So bear with me on that, and I'll see you all again next time on next Sunday on another maybe guitar study video or a guitar lesson. We shall see. I'm not sure yet. So thanks for tuning in. See you all next time.